Welcome to 86, where the nights run long and the stories hit quick. From the back of the house to the front row mix. This is Hospitality Unfiltered. It's 86. Let's get into it, baby. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Chef Vern, and we back with another 86 episode. I should say order, another 86 order up. How y'all feeling, man? I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling real good today. I came in here. I'm happy to talk to y'all. I'm happy to come just release it. Come just get it off my chest and just let y'all have it. Let y'all know how I'm feeling with culinary stuff today. Now, y'all don't know, but I'm telling y'all now, December 24th will be my last day working two jobs. It's also my last day working at the steakhouse. And I say this to say because let's say over the last like month or 2 months, everybody's been asking me, like, I tell them, hey, I work at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, a very famous, popular steakhouse. And they're like, oh, you work at Ruth Chris? That's crazy. Oh, I didn't know you did that stuff. Like, oh, what's going on? Like, how do you do it? Like, what's it like working there? And I got to thinking, and before I worked at Ruth Chris, I worked at Longhorn Steakhouse. Before, not saying before, but in between both of those, I've stopped at a fine dining steakhouse. And what I can say is that each steakhouse is the same, but each steakhouse is definitely built different. Definitely built different. And here's what I mean by that. Let's start off with my stage. Now, stage is basically a working interview. So at the time, I was looking for a second job, and I was going around, and I came across this one steakhouse in downtown Woodstock. It's called Prom 120. I was like, okay. I was looking for a grill cook, and at the time, I was working at. I was previously employed like part time at Longhorns for about 7 months. I was like, okay, maybe I can go in there and see what it's like because even though I worked at steakhouses, I never worked at a fine dining steakhouse. So check it out. And went to the stage, and man, I was blown away about the organization, the cleanliness, the way they do their setups to the T, the way they cook their steak, the communication they have. Like I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I should have expected less from a fine dining restaurant, but it was just mind blowing. Like they have their steaks set up, and I had alphabetical order, but an order where they know where to grab. So if you say, "Let me get a dry aged hanger steak," he opens the second fridge, third pan to the right, there, right there. He told me like that's the way I like it set up because we're not guessing where things are. We're not guessing that stuff is right here, or this right here, or this not that. And now I'm wasting ample time trying to figure out where these steaks are when I could be making this food the best way possible. In the way that they communicated with the size team. Usually the steakhouse, well, I'm not gonna say usually because some of you may not know, but at a steakhouse you have the steak person, like the broil, and you have the sides person who basically does like mashed potatoes, broccoli, asparagus, all the sides that you want to come with steak. So the kitchen runs through the grill person. They go, we go as you go, or they go as I go. So the faster I'm getting steaks out, the faster that they could be on their side. The slower I'm getting steaks out, that kind of lets them know, like, all right, we got a little bit of time on this. We don't got to rush this, we don't got to rush that. And it was just, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, no steaks were coming back. Everybody working in unison. Things were prepared fresh and things were served fresh. There wasn't anything that was frozen or left over or like from the day before. I'm not going to say from the day before because, prep does last a couple of days, but everything was fresh and everything was cohesive and everything was fresh. I said fresh already. Smelled good, tasted good, looked good. This is what you would expect from a steakhouse, a fine dining steakhouse. Then my previous time at Longhorns, when I first got the Longhorns, that was the first time I ever actually worked at a steakhouse. I worked at places where we sold steak on the menu, even though I've never worked at a exact steakhouse. And when I got the Longhorns, see, Longhorns has a slogan: "Fresh, never frozen beef, chicken, or fish." Now, what people should ask outside of that is fresh, never frozen beef, chicken, or fish. Beef, chicken, or fish. Well, what is frozen? And this is not a slight towards Longhorns because you guys have a strategy, a way of doing things that has made you fairly successful. And some things, sorry. So you get the Longhorns. I'm just getting trained by, and a lot of habits at more fast casual steak restaurants would not fly in a fine dining or upscale dining steak restaurant. Like putting weight on steaks. I like sandbagging steaks in a sense. Sorry. Some of the items that were served as like sides, frozen steaks, not too much care taken upon. Sorry. It's like, even though in a sense, like, is there a standard that standard or guideline that we should be following? Now, this is not every Longhorn, because it also does play a factor amongst the people that you have working as well. They're like people that actually give a shit and want to do well. But it's just the things that you see and the sorry. What am I trying to say? The details that get missed are often accepted and are often overlooked. Sorry. Yeah. And make sure I worded that correctly. Often accepted and often overlooked. Like when it comes to size, certain, we throwing things in the microwave, you making sure things heat up in the microwave. And I'm not a big microwave person, but I know that if I was to go to a steakhouse and spend about $100 on myself, I would want things heated up the proper way. I want things heated up to a way of culinary standard. And some things weren't like that. And that's okay. But it kind of rubs you the wrong way when you've seen different and you know that things could be different. That also could go for that. There may not be a lot of functioning equipment in those kitchens to where that certain things can be executed a certain way. Like, let's say rice, sauteed broccoli, sauteed asparagus, mushrooms. You want to heat those up in a pan. You don't want to throw those things in a microwave. That destroys the integrity of it. Sorry. And that's where I find problems at with the gripes at. And some of that is personnel, but some of that is also, and like, what's the word? Like culinary direction or direction from the company that's how they want things to be done so they can be um sold fast or executed faster to get out to the guests fast. No problem. That's how they do things, no problem. I'm not the biggest fan of that, so I make sure to be in environments where we are we are doing things the proper way. Now, going to Ruth Chris, Ruth Chris is a very similar steakhouse to Longhorn and to Prime 120, but they're very different. Here, Ruth Chris, even though they get all their steaks in whole and they cut them down before service, so everything is weighed and weighted before service. Longhorns, a lot of those steaks, even though they weren't frozen, they already come in pre-cut, pre-packaged. The Ruth Chris, you're already putting more labor, which is, I think that's a good thing. You already getting your steaks in whole and you're breaking them down to order. Everything at Ruth Chris is prepped fresh, so things come in dry or cold or like in their proper state, and they get prepped fresh to order. And they get prepped, they get wrapped, labeled, they get portioned. So when you have an order, you can just take out the portion, do what you gotta do to it. Now, Ruth Chris does have microwave, but I'm almost one of the people that if I'm on the station where I'm working side, I put things into a pan. I just heat them up in a pan naturally. Because you can do it in the microwave, it is faster, but I get more satisfaction about doing a certain thing the proper way or the right way or the way it should be done to get maximum appreciation for that dish. Like we have Brussels sprouts, like they get sauteed and like bacon or apples or whatever. I don't want to heat the Brussels sprouts up in the microwave. You can throw them in a pan, a little bit of oil, salt, and pepper, and they getting a little hot too fast. A little bit of water help deglaze them, help heat them up, steam them, and finish what you have to finish them with. But I feel like a microwave is kind of like, even though and it's a last resort, and also it's like can be a cop out. It can be a little lazy, and that's just me. That's just me. That's just me in my opinion. But at a steakhouse, I want to make sure things is the right way. I want my Brussels to be the right way. I want my asparagus to be the right way. I don't want to do things to the point where it's like, yeah, put it in the microwave. I know you're paying $20 for it, but it's whatever. It'd be nah, nah. And I used to think working at a steakhouse was so like prestigious. It was so like difficult. It was so hard. Like you had to be an A1 badass to work at a steakhouse. And even though you still have to be an A1 badass to work at a steakhouse, a lot of staff that are in steakhouses don't really understand or appreciate what it is to work a grill. Some people just think you can grill a steak, make it good, sell it, and be done. And that's not the case. There's nothing you have to be knowledgeable about temperatures. You have to be always one step ahead. You have to not have multitasking ability to work in a steakhouse because you get a table of 10 and they all want steak and shrimp and that come off your side. You got to be able to work all of that and keep things going in your mind. So working in a steakhouse is not something that's for the weak. You really have to have multitasking and an internal clock in your head that goes down like, all right, I put these three ribeyes on 6 minutes ago. I know one is mid rare, two is mid wells. So if I flip them all three now, I can put the mid wells in the oven. When they come out, my mid rare should be done. You gotta have things like that going in your mind or working a steakhouse. If you just think it's steak and it's selling, you're gonna have a lot of undercooked or overcooked steak. And steakhouse guests, don't get me wrong, all restaurant guests, all hospitality guests, they crazy. They think they know what they want, but they don't know what they want until they know what they want, if that makes sense. But a lot of guests, they have the craziest requests. I had a guest ask me for a mid-well porterhouse with no pink, and when the server told me, I laughed. I was like, "So, like, you want it well done? Because if it's no pink, it's gonna be well done." It's like, she really wanted mid-well with no pink, and we can just make it. I was like, "All right, listen, I'm gonna make the steak mid-well with no pink. It's gonna come back because they're gonna want pink, and or they're gonna say it's too done." So I feel we should maybe kind of get ahead of that, but that's the whole thing, different story. But guests are a lot more demanding and specific. They'd be like, "Oh, I want a, I want a rare steak with a cold center, or I want a mid rare but keep it cold, keep it warm, or I want a rare plus, a mid rare plus." And I getting a plus steak, a plus on the temperature, it has to be the dumbest shit I ever heard of in my life. Like you want a mid rare steak, cool. You get your mid rare steak. You want a mid-rare plus. So you want it in the between time where it's cooked mid-rare, like we finish cooking it at mid-rare, and you want to kind of carry over until like it's almost medium.
Sorry.
So why don't you get a medium? Or why don't you get it or tell us like, hey, I want a medium. If it's a little rarer than medium, that's okay. Or I want it rare, but if it's a little closer to mid-rare, that's fine. Or I want a mid-rare, but you can make it like actually kind of rare-ish, like in between that. But a mid-rare plus, and people are so specific, like they know what that looks like. Like, oh, this is not a medium plus. This is like a mid well. I mean, if a medium is if a medium is 140 to 145, or better yet, no, for the yeah, let's do that. So a mid rare, so you hit rare and like now they say it's like 120. A mid rare is between 125 to like 130, 130, 135. I mean,
Sorry.
a mid well, a medium is 136 to like 140, 145. So you want your stuff from like 146 to like 149. So you're basically in that window of mid well. And I know I just broke that down kind of crazy, but you're in that window of mid well. So why not just get a mid well? Like I never understood people when they come to their steak orders. Like these would be the most complicated orders, and people just want you to know, like, yeah, I'm talking about this. My great great aunt made this steak for me when I was 13. This mid rare plus, it was the best thing ever. So I need all my steaks like that. We don't know how your aunt made that steak, sir or ma'am. So let us make our steak the way we make it, and we can accommodate you to the best of our ability. But we just don't come in here with no crazy demand, please. Steaks, but yeah, I thought steakhouses were like something that was just like the holy grail of cooking. You work at a steakhouse. Then I got into steakhouses, and I was like, all right, I see what people are saying, but this is not what it seems at all. The busiest thing about steakhouses is when you got 35 orders or 20 tables and they all got four tops and they all want steaks on your side. So now you have to maneuver and move around and be Dr. Otto Octavius to figure out how to get all this food out. And but that's for every restaurant. Just a steakhouse is a little bit more volatile, a little bit more risky because you have beef, which is tip, and people are very particular about their tip beef. So that's why it's a little bit more stressful. But working at a steakhouse, and I've come to the hindsight, is like working at every other busy restaurant. If you work at a seafood restaurant, they just mainly sell seafood, you're gonna be busy. Work at a sandwich spot, you're gonna be busy. A pizza spot, you're gonna be busy. It's the same. And I don't know why I did feel like that, but I'm glad I did work at a steakhouse. I'm glad I got the opportunity to work at two steakhouses and stage at one. I was able to see a lot, and it was enjoyable. But y'all tell me, what's your favorite steakhouse? No matter where you at in the world, what's your favorite steakhouse? I might pull up to your favorite steakhouse. But it's your boy, man. It's been Chef Vern. Another episode of 86. Remember, if you listen to this on Spotify, make sure you like, make sure you heart, make sure you hit that bell, because it really helps us grow on Spotify. If you listen to this on Apple Music, do the same thing. Like, heart, hit that bell, because we're trying to grow 86 to big numbers. You watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment, like. Tell a friend to do all six. Subscribe, comment, like, comment, subscribe. Sorry, show some love. Man, this has been your therapy. It's 86 with Chef Vern, man. I'm going to see you on the next one.